okay, so I'm an accessories designer, but I also have a day job. I work at MTV. So last week I was innocently walking home from lunch, about to walk into my office, and I noticed a man was chasing after me. I was, okay, what's this guy gonna say now? And what he said really surprised me. He was like, excuse me, are you a tourist? You just look way too African to be from here. I was dressed pretty much like I am now. I had some kind of a bold print animal skin belt, a Nigerian bag, some boots, a biker jacket, a nice mix of African and Western. But he was saying the kind of thing I've heard so many times. African, anything overtly African doesn't really suit real life. I've heard it many times before at my stall. No, I'm not a tourist. I'm not a poet. I'm not a soul sister. And all the things people call you if you happen to have natural hair or be wearing anything associated with Africa. For most of my life, since 1996, I've been an urban culture journalist and TV producer. I ended up selling earrings because I was at home in Lesotho, made some earrings with a guy I met in the market, came back to Joburg, and everybody wanted them. So I was like, okay, there was my business. I was also mad about vintage clothes, so I started selling those too. Suddenly, I had an interesting little sideline, journalist, TV producer, accessory and clothes seller once a month. So 2 years ago, I decided to use cloth commonly associated with Southern Africa, West Africa, Central Africa on shoes and clutches and suitcases and iPad covers. Suddenly, I was getting a whole bunch of attention. I was doing okay with my range before, but when I added this, it really encouraged me. People were so touched to see a cloth associated with their culture, their heritage, and their life on shoes. It's a positive sign, right? But then again, every weekend as I sold at Market on Main in downtown Joburg, I heard interesting things coming out of black people's mouths. They would say things like, what a nice pair of shoes. Oh, sorry, that slide that refers to all the media attention I got. I'm at a TEDx talk only because of this range. I was on CNN only because of this range. I was on magazine covers and every magazine you can imagine because people were touched somehow by this African print I was now using on modern items. But I also noticed at the market, like I said, people would come by and say very strange things to me. They would say, lovely shoes, lovely clutch. I can't wait to wear it to a traditional occasion. I'd be like, okay. What a nice shirt. But now I have to find an ethnic event to wear it to. On the other hand, people from other cultures would see the stuff, not even know where it's from, not even know it's African, and just recognize something beautiful and wear it anyway. But a lot of black people seem to want to ghettoize it and marginalize it. It got me thinking how strong colonialism and apartheid mentality is. We have an African side, when we're being traditional and cultural, and then when we're being sexy or corporate or sophisticated, we wipe out any evidence of Africanness. I have a friend who made a Facebook post and she was totally outraged. Very beautiful girl, wearing glasses, a corporate outfit, and a top-knot head wrap. A visiting English colleague said to her, would you like a pail and a mop to go with that? Extremely offensive, but I find it even sadder when, in my case, I went to an office event, a kind of glamorous MTV party, wearing a vintage Xhosa skirt, thinking I looked nice. Xhosa skirt, biker jacket, I thought I looked fly. She told me she would never ever do that as a Xhosa person. In a weave and a tight dress. And I was like, why? She just said she would never ever do that with some Indian person's hair strapped onto her. I was like, all right, that's interesting. When I visited Nigeria and India, I noticed that people had much more of a mix and match. You would see people in saris. In Nigeria, you'd see men in suits, but you would also see people in Nigerian attire, like at that event. The person on the left was a person I met in Tanzania. There seemed to be much more of an acceptance of wearing Western stuff, but also wearing African stuff without having to endure being called Mama Africa, or being asked if it's a special occasion, or only pulling out your heritage outfit because it's Heritage Day. No, people seem to mix and match it everywhere. And the reason, when I made these shoes, I started making the shoes a year ago and the clutches 2 years ago, I didn't do it because I was trying to make a statement. I did it because I thought these prints were as beautiful as anything from anywhere in the world, whether modern culture or Chinese culture or Indian culture. I thought these African prints were great. It wasn't a statement. And I think it's because it's always been part of me. You can see a picture of me on my mom's back. That's an African print cloth. She's wearing a Seshweshwe dress. There's a little picture of me back there in a Lesotho blanket. So I thought it was normal. I never thought it was making a statement. The stuff had always been part of my life. And when I found some people who could make this product happen, I just did. But in the end, it became a kind of image activism. I seemed to be making a statement. You can wear African print on the red carpet, like Lyra is over there. You can wear those blue shoes to work. Why not? If you're a cool street kid style person, you can also be in Tumblr and African print. And I was happy to be doing this because I had noticed in my years of covering fashion that people have long been influenced by Africa. We don't get any money from it. We don't even get any acknowledgement. Do you think when Louis Vuitton made this range that he mentioned anything about Lesotho? I don't think so, but the inspiration seems pretty clear to me. What do you think? Look at that necklace, $2,000 in New York. I bought that necklace for 100 Rand, my market. This one over here blew my mind because I saw a fashion editor friend wearing that sandal. She edits Grazia magazine. I never thought I'd see the fashion editor of Grazia wearing a Zulu sandal, but there she was. The difference was it cost 6,000 Rand from this Italian label called Mani, and only 250 at my market. Do you think they took a visit? Did anyone Zulu get employed in making that shoe? Was there any acknowledgement that it's Zulu culture? They didn't even change anything about it. It's amazing. That outfit, Derek Lam in Vogue, I wonder how much that is. I shudder to think. But I know yesterday I went to Yeovil Market. I ordered 2 of those tops. 500. 500 Rand for 2. We've always had this kind of thing. We never thought it was cool until the West did it. From Yves Saint Laurent in the 60s to all the people who've used Maasai culture in their collections, Africa has always been inspiring the international fashion world. We're an amazing continent of beads, cloth, different motifs, different cultures, different landscapes. Of course it's inspired the world. Last year was a major trend. African print everywhere. Beyonce, Lady Gaga, Rihanna, Juliana Rancic, in all the magazines. A great thing. I didn't have a problem with that. I thought it was nice the world was inspired by us. So it was everywhere. You went into a shop called Anthropology, I saw Ottoman chairs with a Lesotho blanket. Why didn't we do that first? Gwen Stefani did it in 2011. And then, of course, from Vogue magazine and all the international catwalks, it hit the mainstream. This is when you saw it in shops like Aldo, H&M, Zara, and Topshop. And if you know the fashion scene, we copy what happens overseas. So if last season, skinny jeans and stripes were in Europe, this season, skinny jeans and stripes will be in South Africa. So Africa was in Europe and America last year. This year, we copied them copying us. So open one of our magazines, or go to any trendy market, or go to any, even of our retail stores. African print is everywhere. Why don't we do it first? I think it's wonderful. For the past 2 years I've been at the market, everyone was a vintage seller. This year, everybody has an African print element. It's a trend. If you look in magazines, they talk about tribal and ethnic. But we've had these motifs in our continent all along. Why didn't we like it first? Why didn't we like it when Congolese did it? Why didn't we like it when Nigerians did it? Why did we wait for the West? Even if you look at the common fashion trends right now called tribal and Aztec, and into our ages-old African cultures, you'll see some similarities. Look at the Aztec print, the blue vest. That's a Tsonga badge I bought. That's a Zulu mat I have up in my house. It looks pretty much the same to me. Why didn't we put it in our stores? Geometric print, also a big thing. Doesn't it look like Ndebele? Doesn't it look like Zulu earrings? We should have had this in our mainstream shops all along before liking it because they did. Look at that, peplum. I've always seen that in markets, but it's a very in cut now. But what a lot of us don't know is we're powerful enough to take something from overseas and make it ours. Look at wax print. That was actually invented in Holland in the 19th century. They were trying to copy Indonesian batik. Indonesians didn't want it, so they had to sell it to West Africans. We liked it, now it's ours. A lot of the stuff I buy is actually made in India and China. Sushweshwe, we think it's authentic to Lesotho. Actually, it was only presented to King Moshoeshoe in 1840 by French missionaries. People there liked it so much, it became the cloth the country's known for, even though it came here from Holland in 1652 and was eventually made in England and only made in South Africa in 1982. So that's a quote from a website. So what makes this cloth African isn't where it's made, but how we use it. And it's being used in so many fantastic ways, because of international interest, but also because of young African entrepreneurs who are finding new ways of using African print. Shoes, purses, jewelry, sneakers, bow ties. You have so many ways of wearing this. iPad covers, iPhone covers. And there's more fashion weeks in the continent and around the world than ever before, with so many different kinds of varieties of African fashion. There's some black coffee inspired by mudcloth. So now you don't have to look like a president's wife or a parliamentarian. You don't have to look like a hippie or an NGO worker. A lot of white people are scared, like, am I going to look ridiculous in your clothes? I'm like, no. There's so many ways to wear African influences. Have a look. Look what she did with her Maasai cloth. Look what she did with wax print. He's wearing kente, the other guy's wearing an updated Nigerian outfit. Look, if you're not brave enough to wear a whole blanket, you can wear a jacket. Xhosa wear, beautiful. So finally, we're not only inspiring the world, we're inspired by ourselves. We have a whole bunch of designers, a whole bunch of boutique stores. Everything is going really amazingly. And that brings me to the thing I hate hearing most after, is this for a traditional wedding? After every interview I've done, people ask me, is this a trend? I'm like, this cloth has been in this country, in Africa for 150 years. Why would it be a trend now? But it could be, if we decide to let the West dictate to us. Next year, if they go on to being into Asian print or Baroque print, let's make sure we're still into what's ours. Let's keep on wearing what's invented here. Let's keep on making an authentic African fashion industry and proudly showing who we are.